forward to sharing and discussing our work with you. Um, and so yeah, okay. So so we know that perceptual similarity metrics play a crucial role in quality assessment tasks. And to begin, uh, like let's just see like how the data set is actually created. So most of you already know that two alternative first choice tests or two SC tests um, is a test in which we ask the participants um, which of the two distorted images, I0 or I1, is more similar to the reference image. So looking at this example, I can easily say that most of us here would choose the right image or I1 because it has more resemblance with the reference image in the middle. Um, and now we have like different levels of perceptual similarity. Um, and our work is focused towards the low level of perceptual similarity, in which different perceptual factors like contrast, brightness, and spatial frequency influence how similar two images may appear. Um, and from the previous example we saw, um, we see that like there are these traditional metrics like PSNR and SSIM, which have been known to be really good at this task, but the recent studies say something different. So it has been now established that they often do not align well with human perception and similarity judgments. Um, so in order to fix that, and given these limitations, and also the advent of deep learning, recently the computer vision community was able to develop learned perceptual similarity metrics. So these metrics leverage uh, deep neural networks trained on large data sets to model human visual perception more accurately. And for example, like in the most like ubiquitously used metric LPIPs, it uses image encoders pre-trained on the ImageNet dataset, and by analyzing and learning from the features or internal activations, and also fine-tuning on the data on how people perceive perceptual similarity, um, like these advanced metrics have been uh, basically trained to be more accurate um, on assessing perceptual similarity. So hence these learned metrics, they do not suffer from the problem that was previously mentioned and are said to be more aligned with human perception. However, these metrics typically rely on large annotated data sets, which can be very challenging to obtain. So what if we could instead leverage the pre-trained features of models trained on different tasks using a large image dataset? So LPIPS already does that using ImageNet, but there's also some fine-tuning involved afterwards. But what we want to do is not train or fine-tune. And there's this new class of metrics called training-free metrics where we could use the intermediate activations of features and compare them using distance measures like cosine distance or Euclidean distance, or as well as like distribution based measures such as KL divergence, Wasserstein distance, and many others. But what's new here? This has already been done. Like it's already well established that pre-trained image encoder features are great for the perceptual similarity task and quality assessment. So what remains unexplored is how useful foundation models are for this task. These foundation models differ significantly from the traditional ImageNet based models. So by um, so actually a foundation model is a large scale machine learning model that is pre-trained on a massive and diverse data set. These models are designed to be highly general purpose. By that I mean that they can be adapted or fine-tuned for a wide range of downstream tasks with minimal additional training required. So therefore, given that foundational models are trained on larger data sets and incorporate more contextual information. It would be interesting to investigate whether they can outperform existing metrics that actually rely on like really expensive annotated data, which is very hard to obtain, as I mentioned earlier. So, CLIP or contrastive language image pre-training was developed by OpenAI, and this foundation model was able to bridge the gap between language and visual understanding. And as the name suggests, it uses a contrastive learning approach where it learns to maximize the similarity between related text and image embeddings. And at the same time, it minimizes the similarity between the unrelated pairs. And Dino V1 um, is was developed by Meta AI for training vision transformers without requiring any label data. So it primarily um, the primary purpose was to learn visual representations directly from unlabeled images, and this kind of enabled the model to perform really well on downstream computer vision tasks effectively. Um, so now, like these foundation model metrics um, primarily rely on the final embeddings rather than intermediate features. And we saw that almost every other metric that was being built using these foundation models had was doing the same thing. And we realized that these metrics were not designed just for low level perceptual similarity. And the other thing is that these embeddings are basically like capturing high level semantic information. So hence, the metrics that were built using those were more aligned towards the image text matching and retrieval or the classification task, but not low level perceptual similarity. For example, the DreamSim metric, which was recently proposed, leverages an ensemble of cosine distances between the embeddings from CLIP and Dino, and it then fine-tunes the metric on a dataset tailored for low to mid-level perceptual similarity. And some of the examples from this dataset are displayed on the right. So I'll give you guys a moment to uh, to take a look at these samples. So now what if we use intermediate features instead and not the embeddings? So we did exactly that, and as shown in this table, the training-free metrics using intermediate features outperformed those that are based on embeddings across the two data sets that we tested on, TID 2013 and the PIPL dataset. So over here, we are using the PIPL train dataset because none of these metrics are trained on the PIPL dataset, and thus it just acts like a really large test dataset for us. Um, so we are looking at the Spearman rank correlation, but what about robustness? So why do we even want to test for robustness firstly? So shown in this sample here, if we change the stride of the convolution operation, we end up getting a very different outcome. So over here we have a horizontal stride of 1 in the top visualization, um, and a stride of 2 in the visualization below. So this is showing us that when a stride of 2 is applied, it generates a very different or a shifted feature map for the shifted image. And this like altered feature map, when processed in the later layers of the network, will result in a very different final score. So this is something which leads to like this aliasing is causing some robustness issues in metrics, And it's not just the stride, like there are many other different factors that are part of the architecture which might lead to similar issues. So we want to see uh, whether these metrics are robust. So hence we created a set of samples with geometric distortions. Specifically, we applied scaling or dilation, translation, and rotation, each by 1% of the pixels. So these operations were applied only to the distorted images and not the reference images, because in a real world scenario, an attacker may or an attacker, or maybe like even the anomaly that gets generated naturally uh, in the wild may happen on the distorted image rather than the reference image. So um, and then we basically use the underlying assumption that the metrics ranking of the various distortions should remain consistent when the same operation is applied across all distorted images. So the metric should be saying, like, giving us the same accuracy when the distortions are applied. So we observed that the Dino V1 with the vision transformer backbone performed well when evaluated against these geometric distortions. Uh, and we interestingly saw that the metric using intermediate features outperformed the one based on embeddings, uh, despite the embedding having like a smaller drop in accuracy. The one using intermediate features was still able to maintain uh, its its rank correlation. Similarly, we observed that clip with the vision transformer backbone also performed well, while the CNN based backbones were not performing that well. So over here we have ResNet, ContNext, uh, which are not performing that well compared to the vision transformer backbone. The Bible dataset over here contains a combination of both the synthetic and real algorithms distortion. So an example of the synthetic distortion could be like various types of blur or JPEG compression artifacts, while in contrast, the real algorithmic distortions are produced by computer vision techniques such as optical flow estimation, video frame interpolation, and super resolution, or also deep blurring and denoising. So in the previous data sets, the TID and live data sets, we only have the synthetic distortions, but on the Pipel data set, we also have the real algorithmic distortions, like I just said. So on this data set, we again see the same trend that using intermediate features leads to better results in comparison to using the embedding, uh, which is the first row versus the second row. And the same was seen in the case of the other foundation model, Dino V1, which is also using the vision transformer backbone. And we also thought that maybe the gains come from vision using the vision transformer, uh, but like we also compared against ImageNet, the vision transformer model trained on ImageNet, and we see that Dino and Clip are actually performing better. And we also tested several distribution measures, including KL divergence, Wasserstein distance, and Jensen-Shannon divergence calculated on the intermediate features. So these measures were combined with the uh, Euclidean norm to adapt them for assessing to low-level perceptual similarity. And this idea was inspired by a recently published paper, which is referenced below. Um, And as you can see, we saw a similar trend when comparing these distribution measures across different backbones. And CLIP and VIT perform better in terms of accuracy and robustness to geometric distortions. And finally, we observed that on the Piper dataset, the same trend, uh, where Clip and Dino were outperforming the CNN-based backbones, and also uh, like they were like more robust. And finally, we compared them to existing metrics. So now these training-free metrics uh, we proposed using foundation models outperformed those that rely on training with perceptual similarity data over here on the top. And they also showcase robustness to geometric distortions and perform competitively with metrics like shift tolerant LPIPs over here, which was specifically designed to address such anomalies. So that was something quite interesting and surprising for us. The main conclusions from this work are that like the training free metrics can compete with the fine-tuned metrics for low-level perceptual similarity estimation. And among the CLIP models, the CLIP VIT model, vision transformer model, with using intermediate features showed the best performance. Um, while Dino V1 vision transformer model was the overall best performer um, across all the data sets and different geometric distortion types, uh, particularly when using the intermediate features. Um, so yeah, so that was like yeah, so that's where we end the presentation. And if you enjoyed this presentation, I encourage you to read the paper and feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Abhijay. Any questions for Abhijay? Seems not. Thank you once again, Abhijay, for your presentation. And then maybe we can move to the CGI presentation by Saman.
Yeah, sure. Let me just make my screen ready. Yeah, so hi everyone, and I will just make a short overview of the CGI project, and also very quickly maybe open the a bit discussion about the future of CGI. So we have this session in CGI because we have seen decline in the basically number of presentation we get every year. And I think the reason is coming from the fact that CGI is more or less now interpreted, at least based on the way that we and Navajit probably led that is into uh, basically gaming quality assessment group. So, and that's why we would like to either slightly change it, so and see if we can get more how to say that, like, attraction, so from other groups basically, or discuss actually to change the group or slightly shut down the group. So in general, so the main focus so far that we have had is on computer generated content, but mainly was on gaming content. And it was including like multiple data sets that we have created. We have work and subjective test methodologies and cloud gaming quality assessment, as well as creating some basically recommendation within ITU. So the idea started from there, and of course, like, we work in the gaming, so, and that is heavily influenced by us to get more people in the gaming area. So clearly, we are a bit, moving towards new other areas basically than gaming only. So, and we will probably contribute less to this area. So, and that's why, like, we start thinking together, so to maybe slightly change the CGI and make sure that either it will stay alive or it will basically slightly change the direction to another basically new group perhaps. So we had this idea, so to move the CGI towards more like actual computer generated imagery, not only gaming at all. So, and we were thinking about to have basically find some new leads basically to basically replace us and probably move that towards point cloud, and maybe also nerf and Gaussian splatting, uh, basically for computer generated content. We have seen a big, at least, rise of basically nerf and Gaussian splatting for 3D content, or let's say that computer generated content, and also as well as rendering side. So those things we can also invite some people, at least internally from PlayStation. They are not necessarily working on the quality assessment, but at least they can help us with bringing some of this experience here. I in the past also I mentioned that, so I reached out to Irene Viola, so to if she would be interested to help to move this group to what other side of Point Cloud and others. And I know that for some personal reason she could not attend this VQEG this time. So, and she was asking if we can move this discussion for the next meeting. But in general, like if from the leadership of the VQEG or from or the board of VQEG as well as others here, if you have any suggestion to move the CGI group, or if you have any candidate to basically work in these areas, or if you believe the point cloud is already answered in one of the how to say that, like group, so and not necessarily needed to create a separate group or keep the CGI alive for this area. So please let us know so that we can make a better decision. So with that, I keep it short just to start a discussion rather than having a basically lengthy presentation on that. But as I said, like the main idea is like to make the group more active, so and bring it to areas that is less basically touched by the other group, but and to me, like there could be a very good candidate, so and still very relevant to CGI, but probably need some basically other people to lead that than me and Abhijit. So that's a short from my side. So I open that for discussion, and especially from the VQEG board, probably. If you have any feedback on that.
Thank you, Saman. Maybe Margaret and Anshel, you can drive the discussion around this.
Yeah, thank you, Saman and Nabajit, for driving the VGI for a long time, and at certain point there is always a need to make new directions. So I like the idea to have some group focusing a little bit on point cloud. I think that has been like a missing area within VQEG, or maybe, as you say, not highlighted enough. I don't know if it's needed a separate group, as you say, but it could be a way to get more traction and focus on the topic. So, but the problem, should I say, it always relies on that there are some persons that are willing to step forward and actually drive the effort. And as you probably know, for CGI, that has been your that has you been the person driving it. So that's the results based on your work, and then people can follow. So do we have any person here at the meeting that would be willing to step forward and take the role of a new working group?
You can also make a suggestion if you have in mind. So I'm not really expert in the area. So, but if you know people that might be interested, you can name it. We can discuss internally, basically offline with them. But
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure he's here, but I mean, a person like Emin would, of course, be based on his presentation a couple of days ago, would be.
I have a quick question actually. So I see in the schedule that in the administrative agenda it's written proposal to rename the CGI group to Gen AI. I was not in that particular session. So do we know who proposed that and what's the reason or the logic behind that? And then maybe we can discuss that also here.
I think that was actually Yanis, but he's not here at the moment. He had to leave, so maybe we have to to leave the discussion until then.
Yes, and the logic was that we've been seeing increasing interest in the norm group on Gen AI. And it's certainly related to computer generated imagery. But that shift might draw more attention to that topic. And I don't know, like when you think of Norford's metrics, Gen AI is not the obvious topic. But I agree with Shell, we should make that decision probably tomorrow.
Yeah, if Yanis proposed, I think he should be there for the discussion.
Absolutely.
It's not here. And
Pablo?
Yeah, so in particular, so the thing with point clouds, so in principles, up to now, let's say, point cloud so evaluation of point cloud compression or point cloud algorithms in general was somehow under the umbrella of IMG, meaning that the presentations that there have been on the topic had normally been under IMG session. There has never been a specific effort on IMG to address point clouds, and there has been not many presentations on the topic recently, even though there's some work on that on a few teams. Probably the most active one is the one in CWI, who has been contributing kind of regularly to VQEG, well, mostly through Irene, although Irene is now it's off for a while. So I have no particular opinion on kind of having a dedicated group on that. I think it could be an interesting topic if there are contributions, not only someone driving it, but really that we foresee that we can gather enough contributions to focus a group on that, which I don't. There are people working on the area. I'm not particularly working on that, so I don't know how many people we have who actually could contribute and create a cluster on that. If there's enough traction, then we could explicitly create a group on that. Otherwise, we could have it. We could still host these presentations under IMG if needed. So this is kind of depending on the interest of the community to kind of explicitly strengthen this topic. So I don't know if there's any strong. I don't know who. If we have some people in mind, or we want to grab some people back who's not here, or if there's like enough number of people in the community that we like to gather, or if it's just so, which is the objective of or the perspective that we have on creating a specific focus group on point clouds. Basically, this is my question.
Yeah. I can say that from my side, like I think point cloud and even Gaussian splatting and these new ways of even representation coming out. So we will see more and more. So, and that's at least we expect to have also more evaluation on them. But it doesn't mean that we need to have a separate group, as you mentioned. So, and anyway, I think naturally, if we have too many basically people want to present in an area, so it will naturally will be created. We can create a group later as well. So, and we don't need to force it to have a group and then look for the presentation. So it should be the other way around, I believe. I agree with you on that. So yeah, like we can wait until tomorrow. So if there are other basically opinion, we can. Otherwise, we can just close the group, and we can move even gaming or basically how to say quality assessment topic merge into the norm. Basically, we can present many of the norm reference model, for example, in norm, and when it comes to subjective tests, like we can also, statistical analysis, we can go to SAM, of course, Yeah, I think that should be a right way to do. Next meeting, if we see a rise in the number of, contribution, we can easily, of course, move it, form a new group on that. So, and that might be the natural way of doing that. But yeah, I mean, from our side, like, we don't see basically much activity in the CGI, and we also like have less, basically we become more busy. So from our side, so I believe like we cannot run the group as we wish to do that. So to look for the people, invite them, so which we used to do that, and that's why at least we are more into the side to close the group. Maybe we can discuss it maybe tomorrow during the administrative session. But if you have any opinion until then, please let us know.
Yeah, I think we take the decision tomorrow, since we need to hear about from Yanis about his proposal there. So now we have the background. I was just curious to know if you had been thinking of when you talked about the topic and you were considering stepping down, if you had some people in mind that would be suitable to bring it forward, either within VQEG or outside VQEG. We could always kind of invite persons to, although I mean it's easier to get someone that is already in VQEG and if they are willing to take over.
Yeah, sure. I mean, from my side, like I think when we created the CGI group, so in 2018, so the idea came from Patrick Lecalte, and he had this in mind that we can bring some gaming contribution from our side, and we can also bring some other types of CGI, like point cloud and other things also in this area. But we haven't seen more than 2 or 3 basically contribution over like this 5-6 years that we have running this CGI other than gaming. And most of the others actually going to IMG and others, and of course it's a natural thing if basically more people in IMG are working in this area, then those will go there. And yeah, so from my side, if we want to have it, so people I know, I see like Irene and Vigil is like both of them are quite active at least in point cloud, and there might be a good people to drive them. At least could be one of them can start and look for a co-chair later. But as Pablo mentioned, like if it's already covered in IMG, because Irene also mentioned that when we basically chat on that, and she was also saying that the question is that if we have enough interest in that. So if we don't have it, then we don't need to create that new group out of that. So I keep the question maybe for tomorrow to decide on that. But if you have, as I said, like opinion until then, yeah, please reach out to us and Shell and Margaret and Yanis probably. So on to make a basically decision tomorrow on that. But yeah, like the idea at the moment is to step out of the CGI from our side and probably close the group unless we have someone stepping in to lead that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Let's do that. And yeah,
Something that we could try for next, if we want to test the interest of the community on talking about point clouds. Something that we could try is try to invite a few presentations on the topic for the next VQEG meeting under the umbrella of IMG or under the umbrella of ETG or under the umbrella of any group that we want, let's say, and see if there's sufficient interest on the topic, and then it might generate a new effort or like building a small workshop on the topic if we think that topic is interesting. Maybe we think that we should build that workshop on a different topic. That could be a good point to discuss tomorrow. But it could be a way to try to kick off a new activity, just to first gathering presentations, get the people, and then okay, if these people is interested in cooperating with it among them to get traction and join the activity, or simply a group with any scope, then we could create it afterwards. That could be an idea.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the way that you said. It could be also we can assign an interim basically chair. So and then basically try out something like that for the next meeting and see if we get enough attraction in that area or not. So both would work. From my side, like it's clear. So what we want to do, how we want to move that forward, it's a decision by the VQEG board basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Jesus?
Yeah, I just wanted to so I agree with Pablo, no, and that is something that we have been covering in IMG, probably not in the last meetings, but in previous meetings, also people from Nantes, Ali is there, and I mean, yesterday presented something. I can see the point of bringing a new group. What I'm a bit worried is, I mean, that point clouds is super related with other kind of representations that like meshes, like as you said, Espacio cloud, Gaussing. So I don't know if we should cover, if there is a new group, how wide it should be in terms of representations that are covered in IMG somehow.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly IMG's focus. In terms of in the beginning was that, but if it's already different representation, image representation, video representation is already included there, so why not? We should keep it in IMG, but I think those is at least what we see is like a big raise that we see that there's a huge basically interest in these areas recently with more compute that is happening, and I can guess that will grow, at least not in a one year or one few months, but I think that's the area that we should expect to see more and more. And I think we need some people to have expertise in that, and have connection basically to invite new people. And I think, to me, at least for me, VQEG should grow basically naturally by the way that you tell the people and invite the people to come to the community, and that's why like having people interested in the area and have experience that can taking the lead can basically make it more like have a personal interest to basically reach out to those teams and people in different community that maybe are not in VQEG, and that would be interest and allow also to VQEG grown basically in some way. But yeah, as I said, like if IMG is covering that, so there is no need, but that's a decision I think for IMG lead to think about that. And and think if it makes sense or not. We can postpone that also to the next meeting, so it's not necessary to make a decision right now. So we can just shut down the CGI and then create a new group, maybe with new name. So it doesn't necessarily need to force it right now or this meeting to do that. But think about it. I think that's the area. At least I personally be very much interested to see that happen. Even though it's not my own topic, but I believe that will get very good attraction.
I think Pablo had a very nice idea. I mean, if we could invite some presentation to the next meeting, just to see if we can get a little bit focus and discussion around the topic and how we can bring it forward. That would be great. I think even if the topic have been under the IMG umbrella, with no kind of intended criticism, but the major effort that has been going on in IMG has also maybe made the focus not or time left for covering any other topic within IMG, and it could be that either under umbrella of IMG or as a separate group make it but I still think it depends on if there are people that are willing to drive it, because without one or two person very enthusiastic to bring it forward, nothing will happen. So, but if we could start by at least inviting a few presentations to the next meeting, I think that would be a good starting point. What I would like to know is, of course, I mean, there are efforts going on in both JPEG and MPEG, and then where should VQEG position itself when it comes to this topic? I mean, I'm sure there is a gap, but we need to understand where it is to be able to fit in with our contribution.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think even we have also seen also people outside even MPEG like actively working with non-standard ways of generating things. But yeah, I mean, at the end, like it's basically we need some sort of fresh, basically, people to have motivation to actually look for that and basically get those people inviting them and get also make connection with them, so and bring them actually to the VQEG. So, but yeah, like that would be, I think the idea from Pablo is quite good. So maybe from IMG, if you can create a workshop, so to attract some people from point cloud and new representations like NERF and Gaussian splatting, especially Gaussian splatting is getting a very good attraction. So maybe we can invite some of those people and see if they would like to join. I can help with some of the people we know at DCL we work with. So and maybe we can make a small workshop during the next VQEG meeting, which I'm not sure where that takes place, but we will hopefully hear about that soon.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah. No, I think that's a nice idea.
Small notice is that I cannot put too much effort on the idea itself for the next meeting, because we have the IMG project which is open. I'm also pushing the 5G KPI. Jesus and me are also kind of pushing Comex. So we don't have too much bandwidth, to be honest, in the next year to open any new thread. So happy to give the idea, but don't expect too much activity from me or probably from Jesus on that topic for the next few months, because we are quite overloaded already with activities in the community. But yeah, something also to discuss tomorrow, or maybe maybe see how we can go.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it all depends on what time and ongoing activities everyone has. I mean, that's what brings VQEG forward, the ability to put in time and interest into a topic. Okay, so let's postpone that final decision until tomorrow, the administrative session, at least for now, and then maybe we will go on to the next topic that we brought in. It's actually an administrative topic, but I didn't think it would fit in time-wise tomorrow because we already have a few topics already on the agenda, and the time was not super long. So it was a topic that Shirin brought up about our LinkedIn group. So maybe she can explain the issue, and we can take the decision from there. So please go ahead, Shirin.
Yes, thank you. I would like to share something here, probably. It is about the LinkedIn page that at the moment we have. Probably I should move the slide here. Maybe it is visible here enough. Yes,
It's
it is
okay.
about. Could you see now?
Yeah, we
the
see.
slide?
Yeah.
But it is not in the slide mode, I know.
Yeah, but that's fine.
And the problem is that we would like to increase visibility of LinkedIn web page, but there are some challenges because the group is currently set to the private. And I had some contact with the LinkedIn and asked some question if it is possible to make the page from private to public page, but LinkedIn does not allow us to switch this group privacy setting from private to public after creation. So the idea that they propose is that we should create a new group from first of the creation of the group with the public privacy setting. And then we need to notify all of the current members and provide the new group details, and then encourage all of you and the members that they are now around 390 persons to join to the new group. And then we hope that increase the accessibility and visibility there. The main problem is that nobody could not repost or post, and when we release some information, only the people in the group, that there are 390 persons, could see it, but they could not repost it, or if they like it, other persons in their group could not see these updates. So the idea is making a new group and inviting all of the members to the new group. And here I wanted to show you the differences. Here it shows the post analytics about the one private page that shows around 4,000 persons could show their impressions in one post in the public visibility of private page. And if it goes to a company page, that the followers compared to the first one is around 1/5. This one, the first one, has, for example, 690 persons in the list of members, and this one it has 190. But you could see where is the place of VQEG, because we have a short, we do not have a lot of members in our group at the moment, and then the page is private. So all of them, it decrease impressions and the number of members that they could reach to our posts, comments, information. It is the ideal that's shared by LinkedIn, and I wanted to share with you. If you like, and if you agree, we could go ahead with making a new LinkedIn page for VQEG due to the challenge that at the moment we have. Yeah.
Yeah. Comments or questions? I think it's a good idea. Margaret?
Yeah, Margaret.
I think this is an absolutely wonderful idea. I strongly support it. I think this would just be wonderful.
Thank you, Margaret. Yeah, probably for the next VQEG meeting, we try to work on that.
So we could. Okay, go ahead, Margaret.
I would say whenever people have time, don't wait. Make it based on when is best for schedules.
You mean the? Yeah, please go ahead, Sha.
Yeah, I mean I mean, if you decide this is a good idea, we just think it is. It's just create the new group and then ask everyone to move into the new group, and I mean maybe that will require a few reminders, and maybe in a couple of months we will have about the same, or maybe even more person subscribing to the new group. So I agree with Margaret. Don't wait. Let's do it. I mean, probably I created a group and I probably wasn't aware about any difference between how you created and that's why it became like a very closed group, and then nobody has ever taken the time to analyze if it's a better way. So that's an excellent investigation done, Shirin. So I will post a question. Is there anyone opposing to create a new public group and do as Shirin suggests?
Maybe a question: why did we make it private at first?
It seems that my understanding is that during the creation of the group in LinkedIn, it is not that much visible to find the location that makes the group public. At least I don't know when it is made, but even now, if one wants to make a group in the LinkedIn, it is not very visible. It seems that many people had a problem while they made a LinkedIn group for their activity. And it is different from a company page or private page that we have. It is my understanding.
I think people historically, they also wanted to control the content, who sees what is being posted. So most of the groups are actually private because of that, because otherwise it starts to appear on I mean, many people do it because they also want to know who is participating and reach out to the list and all the members. So it's quite easier to indirectly force people to join the effort, kind of like. But yeah, I think this is a good idea so that people can we appear on web search results and also increase the visibility to non-members, current non-members, and hopefully have them join us for these sessions.
Yeah, it seems I want to add. It seems that the functionality of different type of pages in LinkedIn, for example, are different. For example, some community need to have two pages inside of one inside of another. One as a company and one as a another page, that it has a different functionality and more functionality for absorbing more members or increasing the visibility. So there are different types. Maybe we should think about also if we want to make a group with a public functionality or company page or another type of page. But anyway, it is the solution.
I think it's a good idea to make it public. I was just curious about the background. Thank you.
Yeah.
No problem.
I mean, the background was that I created and have no clue of what I was really doing. So I think that's where we ended up in this place. So, okay, I think we can decide to go for this. Thank you, Shirin, for bringing it up. I think we have a decision here. Is there
Thanks.
anything else we need to should bring up today? I think otherwise there is nothing else scheduled, right? If I'm right, I think this was the last point. So one possibility is that we close a little bit earlier and reconvene tomorrow again. Margaret, do you have anything to add?
I don't. I would support stopping here. This is not enough time to get back into the discussion we'd hoped to restart.
Okay. So let's close the meeting for today. Thank you all for all your contributions, and see you tomorrow.
See you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank
See
you.
you.
See
Bye.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.